Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. This one wasn't for a challenge or anything. I just really wanted to get another layout done with my How to Kill a Kit with Style. So again, I'm using Felicity Jane's Amanda collection, and I really needed to use this floral. This is my last pattern paper from this collection, and I think after this page I only have one more 12 by 12 left. It's the solid pink. So that layout's probably going to be one of the next one you see. But this is my last full solid, so I decided to use it as a whole background, which is challenging in and of itself, but I just really wanted to use it this way for whatever reason. So I'm just starting out by pulling in a scrap with a coordinating color, a branding strip with a coordinating color, and I have a little 4x4 picture collage here. It's just a couple images I took from when I had to do jury duty. It's my first time doing jury duty. It was actually really fascinating. I was really actually happy to be a part of it. I know a lot of people really dread doing it, and when I first got pulled I just thought it was going to be a huge disruption to my life and everything, but I actually really enjoyed it. So I wanted to document it, especially because it was my first time. I have this scrap of this blue solid scallopy paper from a previous page. That's going to be my main layer. I also have a branding strip that has that same blue and white stripe through it, so that's going to be a nice anchor point running horizontally across the page. And then I also have this little notebook paper that came in the collection. The back side said July across it, these photos actually were taken in July, but I wanted to use the back side because I really liked that it looked like notebook paper. I figured I could do my journaling on it. And for whatever reason, I was really feeling my notebook punch on this page. I love this little notebook punch that Kelly sent me. I use it quite often, but I was just feeling, with it being a legal thing and having to take lots of notes, and for whatever reason, being on jury duty just made me feel that vibe of a notebook punch. So I'm going to use that quite a few times. I just started out by doing it on that journaling piece there. I have these really cute little tassel bows that are left over from Felicity Jane's Gina collection, and there's this dusty pink color that actually goes really well with this collection, so I'm going to pull that in as well. Tucked in a little doily as another little layery bit there, and I'm just trying to build out a couple layers here. I have quite a few of the 3x4 pocket cards left, so I wanted to get a couple of them on here too. I'm already really happy I used that larger journaling piece, but I wanted to make sure to get some of the 3x4 cards on here as well. So I ended up taking a couple of those in coordinating colors and stacking them up behind the notebook piece. I thought about doing something in this upper left-hand corner, but instead I decided to just build vertically from my vertical section I've already started instead. So you'll see that in a second. But I'm playing around with that. I'm playing around with some of the ephemera pieces. This is only layout 5, but because I'm really trying not to worry about how many pages I get out of this kit and just use it how I feel like doing it, I am getting pretty low on the paper. Like I said, I only have one 12 by 12 left after this layout, so we'll see what happens, but I'm really trying to think about what I can get on these pages so that I don't have a whole lot of stuff left over. There's definitely a couple floral die cuts I'm thinking about getting on here because I already have the floral background, but it is pretty challenging because this background is pretty busy. I do really like it. I always say this every time I use Felicity Jane, that I wish I would have used these big floral pieces as like big chunks within a layering of a page instead of as the whole background, because it can be pretty overwhelming. But whenever I come to using the papers, I just can't help myself. I just want to use it as a whole background so you can really see it. So I kind of had that struggle this page with trying to embellish and also make it not super busy because I realize the background can be a little busy. So I'm just trying to work within those restraints. Here you can see me, I'm using those 3x4 cards to build up this vertical section by layering a couple of these pocket cards, and I'm just going to copy that notebook punch on all of those edges so it all goes together, it's cohesive, and I really like that that emphasizes that notebook edge because I think that's a really cool detail on this page. And I really love when I can incorporate details like that on a page that reminds me of the experience I'm documenting. So I have these two pink pocket cards here. I think those look really sweet layered up together. And here you can see that sheet of puffy shapes. I have a whole bunch of these shapes I need to use up. I thought I was doing really good about using them, but here we are, page 5, and I still feel like I have almost the whole sheet left, so I decided to use the entire row of pink dots as a decorative edge above my title. I just decided to title it Jury Duty, I just used Thicker's Root Beer Float font. I had to cut an F apart to get an R, but you can read it. That doesn't bother me. So I think that's pretty nice. That kind of simplifies what it is. You can kind of tell from the picture what it's about because I'm wearing my little juror badge. And then now I'm just trying to decorate a little bit. So again, I'm trying to pull in some of these floral ephemera pieces. I definitely didn't want all of these florals left over at the end of the month, so I'm trying to get quite a few on here. I ended up using 2 of the ephemera florals and 1 of the chipboard florals, and I really like how that creates a visual triangle around my photo. I used one of these little scraps of the blue scallop as my little cluster behind one floral up there on the top of the card. And then I'm just popping a floral next to the title and one next to the photo just to kind of create that visual triangle. I think I go back as well with my Root Beer Float thickers and add a couple of the periods because they give you a whole lot of dots on that thicker sheet. And I decided to use those kind of like I would enamel dots just to drag that white foam texture and dimension into other parts of the page, so it's not just the title. But I'm pretty pleased with how that's looking, so I'm going to go ahead and glue all of that stuff down. I think that looks really sweet, and I like how this floral cluster at the top here drags your eye up that vertical column all the way to the top of the page. I think that looks really nice. I don't need to do a whole lot after this though. Like I said, I was really worried about making this too busy. So here I go in with those dots in a couple areas. I think that's simple enough, especially because they're white. And I am going in and doing my journaling now. It just says Uden vs. Teague, my first time doing jury duty at Marietta Square. So that was the case I was on. It was just a little fender bender, but I can never remember plaintiff and defendant who is who, but the person who was suing the other person for damages was actually his fault. So we ruled in favor of I think it was the defendant at that point, but it was so interesting, and it took, I think, three whole days. I was in jury duty, I think, for 4 or 5 days. I can't remember. The first 2 days I didn't get selected for a jury, and then day 3 I got selected for this one, and this jury took 2 or 3 days. But we were able to come to a unanimous decision, so that was nice, because apparently that doesn't happen a lot of the times, and then they have to go through the whole process again until they do have a jury that can come to a unanimous decision. So I'm glad I had other jurors that kind of came to the same decision, because there wasn't too much arguing or anything. It was actually very civil and enjoyable to have an environment where everyone was respectful of everyone's decisions, and we were able to sit down and kind of talk everything out and come to a unanimous conclusion. So it was a very nice thing to be a part of for me, because that's definitely out of my wheelhouse, something that I didn't think I would be comfortable doing. But yeah, it was a really good experience. And then I thought I was done here, but I just thought I needed something else. It was too plain, so of course it's Felicity Jane. Of course we're going to add some stitching, so I am doing a back stitch all the way around the page, just as a simple little detail. I did actually do these holes a whole centimeter apart. Usually I like doing my holes 1/4 of an inch apart. I think they look a lot nicer, but because I was feeling impatient and I knew it was going to take me forever to stitch all the way around this page, I decided to stretch the stitches out to 1 centimeter. That way it would take me less time. And I actually really like how that looks. I think when you're going to do this much stitching around an entire layout, you can get away with larger stitches. So this is the end result. Here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.